Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. சோம்பியாய் சும்மா சுகமுண்டுறங்கிடில் சொல்வேரெங்கதி அருணாச்சலா. சௌரியம் காட்டினை ஷழக்கற்றதென்றே சலியாதிருந்தாய் அருணாச்சலா. ஞமலியிற்கேடா நான் என்னுருதியா நாடி நின்னுருவேன் அருணாச்சலா. ஞானமில்லாது ஆசையற்றளவர ஞானம் தெரித்தருள் அருணாச்சலா. நிமிரு போல் நீயும் மலர்ந்திலை என்றே நேர் நின்றனை என் அருணாச்சலா. தத்துவம் தெரியாதனையுற்றாய் தத்துவமிதுவென் அருணாச்சலா. தானே தானே தத்துவமிதனை தானே காட்டுவாய் அருணாச்சலா. திரும்பிய ஹந்தனை தினமக கண்காண் தெரியுமென்றனை என் அருணாச்சலா. தீரமில்லகத்தில் தேடியுந்தனையான் திரும்பவுற்றேனருள் அருணாச்சலா. துப்பறிவில்லா இப்பிறப்பென் பயன் ஒப்பிடவாயேன் அருணாச்சலா. தூய்மனமொழியர் தோயும் உண்மையஹங் தோயவே அருளென் அருணாச்சலா. தெய்வமென்றுன்னை சாரவே என்னை சேர ஒழித்தாய் அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சல சிவ அருணாச்சலா.
நமः பரமரிஷிभ्यो நமः பரமரிஷிभ्यः. ஹரி ஓம். உபாசகானாம் யதுபாசனீயம் உபாத்தவாசம் வடசாங்கிமூலே தத்தாம தாக்ஷிண்யஜுஷா ஸ்வமூர்த்யா ஜாகர்த்து சித்தே மம போதரூபம். அத்ராக்ஷம் அக்ஷீணதயாநிதானம் ஆச்சார்யமாத்யம் வடமூலபாகே மௌனேன மந்தஸ்மிதபூஷிதேன மஹர்ஷிலோகஸ்ய தமோனுதந்தம் வித்ராவிதாசேஷதமோ கணேன முத்ரா விசேஷேண முहुर्முனீனாம் நிரஸ்யமாயாம் தயயா விதத்தே தேவோ மகான்ஸ்தத்வமசீதி போதம். மமாத்ய தேவோ வடமூலவாசீம் கிருபா விசேஷாத் கிருத சந்நிதானஹ. ओङ्काररूपाम् उपदिश्य विद्याम् आविद्यगध्वान्तमपाकरोतु यस्यान्तर्नादिमध्यं न हि करचरणं नामगोत्रं न सूत्रं नो जातिर्नैव वर्णा न भवति पुरुषो न नपुंसं न च स्त्री नाकारं नो विकारं न हि जनिमरणं नास्ति पुण्यं न पापं तत्त्वं नो तत्त्वमेकं सहजसमरसं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि सदाशिवसमुद्भूतशुद्धज्ञानैकरूपिणीं रमणाचार्यसम्पूर्णां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् करुणापूर्णसुधाब्धे कबलितघनविश्वरूपकिरणावल्या अरुणाचलपरमात्मन् अरुणो भवचित्तकञ्जसुविकासाय त्वयि अरुणाचलसर्वं भूत्वा स्थित्वा प्रलीनमेतच्चित्रं हृदि अहमित्यात्मतया नृत्यसि भोः ते वदन्ति हृदयं नाम अहमिति कुत आयातीत्यन्विष्यान्तः प्रविष्टयात्यमलधियाम् अवगम्य स्वं रूपं शाम्यत्यरुणाचलत्वयि नदीवाब्धौ त्यक्त्वा विषयं बाह्यं रुद्धप्राणेन रुद्धमनसान्तस्त्वां ध्यायन् पश्यति योगी दीधितिम् अरुणाचलत्वयि महीयं ते त्वय्यर्पितमनसा त्वां पश्यन् सर्वं तवाकृतितया सततं भजते अनन्यप्रीत्या स जयत्यरुणाचलत्वयि सुखे मग्नः योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचम् इमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्य किल शक्तिधरस्वदाम्नाम् अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं. Now I have become a seer. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Yesterday we saw the 72nd verse, which is very important from the sadhana point of view. A sadhaka is a striver, is striving, struggling in various ways to quieten the mind, Bhagavan has said in the small booklet, Who am I? If you have the mind peaceful, wherever you are, you can live peacefully. What is that supreme yoga? You can give so many definitions. In Bhagavata there is a verse which says, Parohi yogaha manasas samadhihi. This is a song actually which comes in Bhagavata, and that's a very beautiful story. Bhikshu Gita. Bhikshu means a sannyasi, a monk, or you can also say a beggar. Gita means song, the song of a monk or the song of a beggar. And it is also called Paramahamsa Gita, because the monk is a Paramahamsa, a jnani, the great swan, which if you mix the milk and water, it will take the milk. Like that, our experience is filled with consciousness and matter. The method by which you experience consciousness is Hamsa Vidya, the method of a Hamsa, method of a swan, the technique of a swan. This Bhikshu Gita comes in a very interesting context where the monk in his former ashrama was a family man, householder, very rich, but ignorant. And ignorance is sheer madness, as Bhagavan said. An ignorant person without any cause suffers. That is the problem. You have everything for you to be happy, but you will suffer simply because of ignorance. That was the case with this person. He was very rich, but he was very miserly. He will neither help others, nor will he enjoy with his money. Mysteriously, such people are there. Yo na dadati na bhunkte tasya tritiya gatir bhavati. He neither gives nor enjoys. His very life, he need not die to go to hell. His very living here is a hellish existence. That was his life. And the story goes not only that he suffered, his family suffered. His wife, his children, for a long period they suffered. They ultimately decided to drive him out. Because the money was taken away by the king, some by thieves, some by family people, and at last he was guarding his money like a yaksha. Yaksha means an astral being which is always guarding wealth. It is called Yakshavitta. And that money was lost. He was driven out of his house. The wonder is, we do not know when a person will become spiritual. That's the beauty of it. Sometimes from the most unexpected corners, the explosion happens. This person who was very stinky, this person who was very miserly, who was suffering when he had so much wealth, so many people around, a big house, everything was there, suffering. when he was driven out of the house, he wandered here and there simply for food, became tremendously, immensely dispassionate, virakta. Like fire, dispassion arose inside him, that life is worthless. All my life till today I was wasting. What is the use of this wealth? He traveled a lot and got satsanga, association with great sages, became a Paramahamsa sannyasi. Paramahamsa sannyasi means he will be in the tradition, he will be carrying a danda, the staff. With all that, he became a monk, a realized person, a jnani, wandering about for bhiksha here and there. And the most difficult thing to do is to come to the native place. Go to place where people know you and beg. That is very difficult. So he went to the village, the place where he was born, and he was, formerly people have seen him very well dressed, but now they are seeing him with only a loin cloth and ochre robe, with a stick in his danda, in his staff in his hand, begging. First, people did not recognize him. Then slowly they started whispering, you know who this is? Oh, it is that Kancha Chakravarti. It is that Pishuna Chakravarti. That Lobhi means that greedy fellow who did not give money when we wanted to have the temple celebration, who did not give money when the neighbor needed some help. Now, this is his new dress to make money. So, people stopped giving him bhiksha, and calmly he was begging. Whatever he got, he will take it. And youngsters around, cynical, that is the age between 17 and 25, cynicism grows like weeds. They started making fun of him. One boy came and snatched his sacred staff and broke it. Some of them came, and the bhiksha that he has kept there, they threw dirt on it. They defecated in his bhiksha. He was given so much trouble. He will be sitting in meditation. They will come and do abhisheka with urine. This happened to Bhagavan also. Something. He will remain calm. And some saints came there, some monks came there. They asked, why you are suffering like this? He said, I am not suffering. Why these people are giving you trouble? He said, no people, no one can give me trouble. Is it that you have not done worship of your family deity? No deity can give me trouble. Very beautiful song it is. Suddenly I remembered today. Nayam jano me sukha dukkha hetuhu na devatatma graha karma kalaha manah param karanamamananti samsara chakram parivartayedyat. Nayam jano me sukha dukkha hetuhu. These people around, my relatives, my friends, nobody is cause for my pleasure or pain, my happiness or sorrow. Because of ignorance, I say, my husband is my cause, my wife is my cause, my child is my cause, my daughter, my son, my brothers, nobody can give you suffering. Na ayam janaha sukha dukkha hetuhu. Then some God? No. No God can give you suffering. Na devata. Then you go to some astrologer. Generally people will go to astrologer when? Only when you suffer. So half the work is over. The moment you come to astrologer, the astrologer will say, the moment I saw you, you took your shoulder cloth and put it in the left shoulder. Then I read that there is a problem in your life. Otherwise, why should he come here? Nobody goes to an astrologer and tells him, everything is happening very well in my life. What is the problem? Nobody will go. So the moment you go to an astrologer, some problem is there. He will say, it is Saturn. Sometimes it is 7 years. Sometimes it is 19 years. He said, 19 years the problem will be there. After that, you will get used to it. That means no solution now. Nayam jano me sukha dukkha hetuhu na devatatma graha. He says, no graha, no planet is causing me sorrow. Then somewhat much more scientifically you can answer, it is my karma. It is because of my action, past action, the result of my past action. Then also no solution. You have to undergo the suffering. Planets are also recording. They are just like computer giving you the message. You are going to suffer the result of your action now. He denies that also. He says no result of action. Then we will say it is the present day affair, time. He denies that also. No. Then what is the cause? One more thing he has said, I just left it. It is Atma. Suppose the very nature of the self is suffering, then no solution. No. Manaha param karanamamananti. He says, mind is the only cause for all suffering. That bhikshu says, by grace I found the thief who was giving me trouble all my life. Janaka, he danced, the king Janaka, he said, I have found out the thief who was constantly giving me trouble. Prabuddhoham prabuddhoham drishtaschoro yamatmanaha. I have awakened, I have awakened. I have seen the chora, the thief who was stealing my peace of mind. Who is that? Manonameha. His name is mind. Hanmyenam. I will just finish him off. Cut his head. Manasasmi chiram hataha. All these years I have been hurt, killed by mind. Now I will no more allow him to do that. So this bhikshu says, mind is the only cause. I have left it. Outwardly trouble nobody can avoid. Even with Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, there was so much trouble around. Unnecessarily, because Bhagavan never owned the ashram, everybody was trying to own the ashram. Court case was there around. And the lawyer was coming to ashram and asking questions to Bhagavan every day. Somebody said Bhagavan is asking so many nonsense. Bhagavan said, let him ask for 1,000 years. I never use my mind. See, this is very, very revealing insight about Bhagavan's inner state. He says, let him ask for 1,000 years. I never use my mind. That means what? The moment you use your mind, you will become tired. He is asking second time, third time, fourth time. If we can remain like that, it is every time it is first, fresh. Amanaska yoga. It is the yoga of no mind. The yoga of no mind. So this bhikshu says, I found that secret, so nothing affects me. Parohi yogaha manasas samadhihi. He says the greatest yoga is the state where you are free of mind. Where the mind is absolutely quiet. Or you can say you are aware of the truth behind the mind, the self. You believe with the mind, it will one day successfully convince you all the problems of the world are there for you. This is what adhyasa means, superimposition. Somebody has asked, it is your question, dehadhyas se kaise मुक्त होना है. Dehadhyasa. We cannot become free of dehadhyasa. Because it is only adhyasa. In our swarupa there is no deha. In our swarupa there is no mind. Every day in deep sleep, we are experiencing the state where there is no adhyasa. Adhyasa means superimposition. Where there is no body, where there is no mind, where there is no ego, where there is no world. Even now, that alone is. In that, this illusory appearance happens, this mirage happens, and if you believe the mirage, if you believe there is water there, you will unnecessarily run. So to be free of that is the supreme yoga. Amanaska yoga. The yoga where one is absolutely free of ignorance, ajnana. And ajnana, the sign of ignorance is mind. Bhagavan called it Peitanam, and in another song he will say Paithyam, madness. But we will very often forget. The only problem with us is forgetfulness. Very often you need something to remind you. And that is satsanga. Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means daily self-study. You remind yourself about the truth constantly. The punishment for forgetting the truth is suffering. Nothing can be done. You might be a good person, but that doesn't make you free. You will suffer. So to remind you the truth that you are the self. You can see in Bhagavan's talks, every paragraph he's reminding you that you are that. You are not the body. You are not the mind. You are the self. Move away from that. In Aksharamanamalai, one place Bhagavan says, you will be burnt by the result of action. Shudum. You move away from the center, the orbit is vibrant with suffering. So you need something to constantly hold. That is what pattri. Bhagavan said pattri. Pattri means something to hold. Support. Now we are coming down. Because the moment you seek support, you are coming down. Ashraya. It's a spiritual secret. You need some support. And ultimately, you know that truth alone can be the true support. Then you will give up all outer supports. You don't hold on to anything, any sadhana, any sadhaka, nothing. But in between, you need so many things to keep you in the track, in the spiritual path, going on and on and on. See, Buddhism, they gave up the Vedic supports, but they developed their own supports. In Tibetan Buddhism, so many sadhanas, so many things. Because the seeker will find that he will need support. And Bhagavan in this song is saying, Arunachala, give me support. Pat-trukkō and protect me, ka. Protect me. Pain-kodi yānān, I am a tender creeper. I am like a tender creeper. A small distraction, I will go away. I will fall. You have to take stock of yourself very often. Where do I stand? Otherwise, suddenly after one day meditation, you will think you have become Buddha. You will easily forget where you are. So, very often you need to find out where you stand and you need support. The necessary support, if you give up, you will end up in trouble. Sometimes, people will say, now I have attained. I don't want any japa, dhyana, no reading, no satsanga. Then after that, again you will find Not much have happened. You come back. So you need support. You need support of the Shastra, scripture. You need support of Guru, or you need support of saints. Not always you only one Guru, that is okay. But you need any presence which can give you ennobling feeling, which can elevate you, which can put you in the track of renunciation, dispassion, discrimination, fearlessness, peace, bhakti, large-heartedness, lightness. Freedom. All these are like kala, what we call various facets of spiritual life. Wherever you get that, you have to, with humility, you have to surrender there. You need that. Contact of saints. Satsangatve nissangatvam. When you have constant satsanga, you will absorb the state of detachment, nissangatva. And constantly listening to the teaching, absorbing the teaching, contemplating on the teaching, nirmohatva, delusion will go. And when the delusion is no more there, nishalatatva, then only you come in contact with the still principle. Nishalatatve jivan mukti. Liberation while alive. Let it happen. But now we have to know that we are like a tender creeper. In many songs, Bhagavan himself says, Arunachala, I am like a baby. The baby needs the mother, the father, mother principle, father principle. So you protected me. You gave me support as mother and father. Bhagavan calls Arunachala as mother-father principle. Ammai Appan. That is why Bhagavan never went out of Tiruvannamalai, and Arunachala also did not allow him to go out of Tiruvannamalai. Constantly living with his mother and father. Ammayum appanum ahi yanai aaki alit. Bhagavan's song. He says, you are my mother, you are my father, you protected me, you guided me. And before I could fall into the worldly life, before I could sink deep into the ocean of samsara, you pulled me out. Manam manni iழுத்து உன் பதத்தில் இருத்தினை. You made me abide in your state, that supreme beatitude. Chinmayanam Arunachala, Ninnarul Chitram, O Arunachala, your grace is a great wonder. The power of grace is a great wonder. Muruganar says, he quotes from Tiruvachakam for this song. Bhagavan has used in Tamil, next song, that is, in Tiruvachakam he takes Pain-kodi yānān, ஐந்தெழுத்தின் புனைபிடித்து கிடக்கின்றேன். From Tiruvachakam, Muruganar is quoting here. I need a support. I am holding to ஐந்தெழுத்து. ஐந்தெழுத்து means the 5-lettered mantra, Panchakshara. ஐந்தெழுத்தின் புனைபிடித்து கிடக்கின்றேன். I need a support. I am holding to support. See, that is, this song comes after Peyar Ninaithidave. The last song is about Peyar, means divine name. The power of divine name is you can carry the divine name anywhere. Arunachala, to see Arunachala, to go around Arunachala, you should be inside this district. But to have Arunachala Shiva with you, you can have Arunachala Shiva as Shabda Brahma, wherever you go. You can have that divine name in your heart, support of divine name. You can train yourself to chant, practice divine name. Tirunavakarsar in the Devaram, he sings, he says, Pain-kodi, un namam pain-kodi. I practiced divine name, he says. All other meditation, you need mood, the help of mood. There was one great austere tapasvi with whom I lived for so many, almost 30 years. He was chanting more than 1,00,000 of time the Nama. He took a resolve to finish 100 crores of Ramanama in 20 years. You just think about it, 100 crores. Crore, you will understand? What will you say? Billion? 10 million. 10 million Nama. 1 crore is 10 million. So 100 crores. You calculate. I am very poor in maths. So 100 crores of Ramanama. Let it be. It is too much for me. So, he practiced it in such a way that the whole day is filled with that. Nobody to help him. He will cook his food. He will go to the market and buy things. He will cleanse the ashrama. He will not allow a second person to serve him. With all that, the tapasya continued. And one inspiring thing to many people is, he took the resolve to chant 100 crores of Ramanama after retirement from railways. So, after 58th year or 60 years, his body was healthy, the mind was fresh. 30 more years, he was able to see. By the time of 60, we lose all interest in life. Nothing to achieve, nothing to attain. But the real spiritual life begins there, means what? See, I am seeing so many laughing, smiling faces with joy. Because by the age of 50 or 55, you see, now nothing to do. But after that begins the vanaprastha, the period to do tapasya. There is a real, what Paramahamsa Yogananda's book is there, that I have not read that book, that title of the book is Divine Romance. So the divine romance begins there. The real tapasya, austerity, spiritual life begins after that. And you have the Nama, chant the Nama, not expecting anything. Whether the mind cooperates or not, whether there is spiritual mood or not, whether you have interest or not, I am going to do this. This was the method by which he trained. Un namam pain-kodi. This is a support. Once one seeker was having a conversation with him, he said, nowadays I am not able to meditate. He used to say you should not do anything other than meditation or spiritual practice between evening 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. So this person said, I am not able to meditate. Whatever I may do, the mood does not come. It is not setting in. You know, something very remarkable he said. He said, waste the time between 6 and 7. This is the word that he used. He said, waste the time between 6 and 7. Don't have any use for that time. Don't do anything useful at that time. Create a gap there. It is just like having a beehive waiting for the bees to arrive. A nest, a place where you can wait for the bees to arrive. Like that, you have a gap in that period, that duration of the daytime, where the divine is welcome, no selfish activities have done, no motivated action is done. Whether you are able to do self-enquiry or whether you are able to meditate or not, you just keep it vacant. This time I will not do anything. If I am able to do japa, okay. If I am able to do self-enquiry, okay. If I am able to do meditation, okay. Otherwise, let the mind run. Let thoughts come. Let anything happen. I will sit here for this half an hour or 1 hour or 45 minutes, whatever it might be. I will make myself available for him. Whether he comes or not, it is his duty. From my side, this period, this time, I will make myself available. Certain offices, they will say to the peon, you will be here, you should be here. Whether there is work or not, you should be available here. Like that, you are available to the divine between this time. This is how you have to train yourself slowly for the higher life. Otherwise, it's a very, very slippy track if you depend upon the mind. Because the mind today will give you mood. Tomorrow, no mood. That is why Shankaracharya called Moodhamate. One who depends upon the mood is a fool. Go beyond moods and take support of the divine resolve. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana. That divine resolve is one-pointed. It is very powerful. Even, see, Buddha also was like that. That divine resolve. He took the divine resolve, and there is a very interesting sloka. I think it comes in some Buddhist texts like Lalita Vistara. Very often they quote it. He sat under the Bodhi tree and said, Ihasane shushyatu me shariram. Tvagasti mamsam vilayam chayatu. Aprapya bodhim bahukalpa durlabham. Naivasanat kayam adhaschalishyati. Let this body wither away in this seat. Let the bone, flesh, marrow, everything decay and fall in earth. Aprapya bodhim, without attaining bodhi. Yes, I know so many Yugas, sages are striving for it. But without attaining that, this body will not stir. It will not shake. It will not move a little from this seat. They speak much about this resolve. So this divine resolve is the greatest force which is activating spiritual life. From here you are walking to Ramanacharana. You take a resolve to go there. But in the way, you are not thinking about that. You think about many things, many problems, but the body reaches there. Because the first decision is to go there. It rules the body. Like that, this sadhana also has to have a pattri, a resolve. When you hold on to that pattri, and pattri also means attachment. We say attachment is dangerous, but we know, by practically we know, without attachment life becomes meaningless. Hence Bhagavata says, Sangoya samsritir hetu asatsu vihito adhiya sayeva sadhushu kritaha nisangatvaya kalpate. Very, very powerful shloka which says Sangha means attachment. Samsritir hetu is cause for samsara, suffering. How? Asatsu vihitaha adhiya. Adhiya means unintelligently you get attached to ignorant people. You get attached to people with all negative qualities. You will go down and down in the spiritual ladder. Sayeva sadhushu kritaha. The same force, you turn it towards satsanga, towards elevating presence, towards the divine. Nisangatvaya kalpate. Slowly you become nisanga. You become detached. It cleanses you completely. Inwardly it washes you clean. So you need the support of fellow travelers. You need the support of those who have walked the path ahead of you. You need the support of footprints of those who have crossed the path. The scriptures. You need right resting places in between the temples, the ashramas, the tirthas. Some breathing space where you will feel at home. All these are needed. See, Arunachaleshwara temple was like that. Somebody told Yogi Ram Surat Kumar that all these temples, all these things are all man-made. Then Swami asked him, my dear friend, who made man? And without these temples, where would have been Ramana Maharshi? Without this temple, where would have been this beggar? Nobody will give him accommodation. Nobody will help him to stay. See now, because of fame, so much crowd, Even local people cannot enter the temple. What to speak about sadhus, all the security, so-called police, the management, they will drive them out. It defeats the purpose. There are sadhus who say, formerly we used to sleep in railway station, in temples, but nobody, now all temples are locked, security is there. They have no place to sleep. Again the problem. And ashrams also, they will allow rich people, but an ochre wearing sadhu comes, they will drive him out. Even ashrams. One devotee who walked the entire India recently, he told me, he's still in Tiruvannamalai, he told that he could not get place in any ashram because he had no money. Looked very unclean. And they will ask for all recommendations. You need some recommendation or something, otherwise they will not give. And all reasoning is also there because you cannot believe these days who is coming and what he will do. This is the problem. So that also looks like a sound reasoning. But he said, poor people will give me place. Some roadside shop, some hut where he himself is somehow staying, he has nothing to lose, so he can give. That is the secret. So if you have something, you have to fear. You have nothing to lose, you give space to everybody. Not in a temple, not in an ashram, not in any social organization. So pattri, support. Where is the support? Actually, Bhagavan is the support. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. In Gita, Krishna says, I will look after you. I am the pattri. You get deeply attached to me. It is my work to support you. I am the support. Dharma means support. I am the support. Pattrukkō ḍāykkā Arunachala. So when you are a tender creeper, very sensitive spiritual seeker, you need outer support. See, everyone cannot completely abandon and walk out. So, former days also the vanaprastha were there, where people will go and live and do their tapasya in the forest, where even kings went. So this outer support is what Bhagavan calls here as pattri. And pattri also means, as we said, emotional attachment. As you need emotion, see, this is very, very important spiritually, because all these things, if you do not have these things, somewhere, because he is speaking. So you need so many things, so many. It is all given. The scriptures are there. But for emotional attachment, you need an Ishtadevata. As Bhagavan had his, you see, Bhagavan's self-enquiry is not an emotional path. It is what we call direct path. See, the direct path is like going in the sky, like the flight. But another portion is down in the road. Till you have the takeoff, you need a ground. So there you need all emotional support. Although Bhagavan is not speaking about it, you see it in his life. Even the last moment, when devotees were chanting Arunachala Shiva, tears filling his eyes. Every day, Paul Brendan says there was a mysterious, mystic relationship with the hill. The sage had the mysterious relationship with the hill. And something of the stillness of the hill was there in him. So much he has absorbed it. He has spoken about it. He has sung about it. So this Guru Bhakti of Arunachala, you need that Ishtadevata Bhakti. That emotional support is needed. If you do not have that emotional support, you will seek emotional support somewhere. You will end up in trouble. You have to take account of your whole personality. Ashram means what? It gives you emotional support. Ramanashram, emotional support, physical support, food, staying place, Bhagavan's presence. You are too personal in the runway. So till you have the takeoff, you need something deeply personal. And that personal element was so much alive in Bhagavan in the form of Arunachala. Although he did not tell it to everyone, but devotees who moved very close with him, they saw that. So that is pattri. You need some pattri, some divine pattri. Matra pattri enakkindri un padame manam bhavitten. One of the songs of Muruganar Sundarar, he says, leaving all other attachment, I held to your divine feet. The last line enadhu? Oh Lord, even if I forget you, my tongue will repeat your name. That is the song which Bhagavan liked so much, and he asked T.K. Sundareshwara to sing it. He said, yes, that is it. Nattava unai naan marakkinum na sollum undan namame. Even if I forget, my tongue will repeat your name. So this emotional support, emotional element is so much needed. See, any religion which do not have such emotional support will not spiritually become nourishing. Even in Buddhism, there is no personal God. But you see the Tibetan Buddhism, they say Padmasambhava, Dagini, so many devatas come up. Some support, some holding. We cannot search for it. If we have come in Bhagavan's tradition, Bhagavan is there, Arunachala is there for support. That love for Bhagavan, that bhakti for Bhagavan, Arunachala, it's all same. That Guru Bhakti, Shiva Bhakti, Bhakti for that divine principle. It is the patri. As long as the physical body is alive, it needs that. Ramakrishna speaks about it. He says, even though the ego merges in the source in samadhi, the mischievous fellow will wake up again. Even though he might not create trouble, as long as the body is alive, he will be there as a phantom, as an appearance, he will be there. He needs some support. Either he will take support from bhakti, or he will take support from jnana. Let him remain as the dasa, the servant, the friend. Of the divine, the dasa bhav, something to hold on. Ramakrishna himself says, I asked Divine Mother, after the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he says, I asked Divine Mother, rest of my life, give me bhakti. So, she has kept the ego of a bhakta in me. He says, she has kept, not I am holding. She has kept the ego of bhakti in me, with which I am enjoying the life. Yesterday we saw the Sundarar story that Shiva came and caught hold of him. Sundarar said, now you have spoiled my life. Now what should I do? The rest of the life. He said, sing. About whom? About me. You see. Then he started singing, madman, madman. Pitta Piraisudi, Perumane Arunachala. So much of love is there. That's a very interesting story actually. After that, he asks everything from Bhagavan. Generally, we have a concept that devotee will not ask. But Sundarara is different. He will ask for money, he will ask Shiva to interfere in his life to get married. Because he had that destiny, prarabdha. And he asked Shiva to come and resolve the problem with his wife. Because he was born to get married to two women. And one he got married, again another also he got married. So the first wife will say, don't enter my house. Then he told Tyagaraja Swami Shiva, he said, you go and tell her, ask her to permit me inside. Shiva went to her house and came back and told, she is not permitting, not accepting. Sundarar said, how can it be? You go and tell her and she will not listen to you? Then Sundarar thought about, in what form did you go? He said, I went in the form of the temple priest. That is the problem. Now you have to go with the jata, with the locks, with the shula, with the rishabha, with all the Buddha ganas. You walk the street and go. And thus he went. You know the story of Tiruvannamalai, that Brahma went to the top and could not find the top. Vishnu went downward as the Varaha, as the pig, and there also he could not find the feet. One poet, devotee says, if Vishnu and Brahma has become the topper, that portion of the door, and the lower portion of the door of Sundarar's wife's house, they could have seen, because he entered and came back. So these things, they give so much difference. Once we were in Tiruvarur, where this story happened. And one person came. And they asked us, where are you coming from? Right, Tiruvannamalai. Tiruvannamalai. And he said, Tiruvarur is the greatest. He said. We said, no, Smaranad Arunachala. By mere remembering Arunachala, one becomes free. One born in Tiruvarur, one becomes liberated. One who dies in Kashi becomes liberated. One who has the vision of Chidambaram, he becomes liberated. And one who just recollects Arunachala, he becomes liberated. One devotee said to him, you know what he said? He said, dying in Kashi you can do. Now go and stay there. Seeing Chidambaram you can do. Go to Chidambaram. Recollecting Arunachala you can do anywhere. But taking birth is already over. So we are special. And in our place, Shiva has walked with all his retinue. I was simply thrilled by that bhava. Such bhava comes from bhakti. We say everything is divine. That is a statement. But when you see that, you feel Shiva has walked here. All the devas have walked here. And every dust is divine. It takes you to ecstasy. So these are all pattri. You have when you have so much abundant divine stories, why the sages have created so many stories? Just to give you pattri. The divine attachment. Otherwise, always my story, your story, all the episodes after episodes, TV serials. The mind is a great storyteller and story enjoyer. It needs story. Unless it is given food in the form of divine stories, it will go after my story, your story. This is the problem. Yānān. Either it will be constant. You see, watch your mind. What is it telling? Constantly my story. My past story, my present story, and my future story, what it will be. This is our life. So to be free of this mental problem of storytelling, Bhagavat Kathadishu Anuragaha. As Narada says in Bhakti Sutra, you have Anuraga Bhakti. You have great fascination for the divine story, and the mind absorbs the divine stories, and it constantly recollects the divine stories and lives in that divine plane, and slowly it forgets your story and another person's story and the world story. And no history, no only his story. No history. It is his story. You forget everything. Bhagavat Kathadishu Anuragaha. When you have Anuraga Bhakti for Bhagavan's Katha, then next is Bhagavat Pujadishu Anuragaha. Then you have love for worship. That is Pattri. What is worship? You just observe worship. They will make the make Lord take bath. Just like looking after a child. With so much care. Then with a towel, dry his body and put some medicinal dust so that he will not get cold. He is having Ganga in his head. Then Alankara, decorating, then give him food, It all looks like child's play. But many are grown up children. Look very grown up. But inwardly, balaha. They are all children, babies. So these things help. Pattri-ndri. Ishvara's Bhagavan says, Arunachala, give me pattri. The divine pattri. Unless you have divine attachment, Kundalini will not wake up. Because Kundalini is made of attachment to the lower centers or the higher centers. Somewhere it is attached. So when the divine attachment arises, it wakes up. When the higher kind of attachment comes, it just crosses the border of Anahata Chakra very easily. Otherwise, only food, procreation, sleep, survival instinct, only that much. Attachment is there, but these things, give food, sleep, survival, you need no teaching from anybody, because that attachment is natural. So the force, the Kundalini, the creative power is very active, very powerful in the lower centers. But suddenly you wake up to the need of the divine. Alaukika, transcendental. The moment that kind of attraction comes, the Shakti, the force has glided beyond these three chakras to the higher plane. Guru Bhakti comes, Ishvara Bhakti comes from the heart center. I am not speaking about the heart center of Bhagavan. It is about the Yoga Marga. From that heart center only Jnana Marga comes. That is why Bhagavan said Amritanadi. From the heart center, the force travels to the head. Not from the lower centers. The moment you truly, genuinely has come to spiritual life, the lower centers are over. They might be there. Semblance will be there, but not powerfully. From the heart center, really satsanga becomes effective. See, when the heart center is not operating, the anahata is not operating, only the lower part, person will sleep in satsanga. Some breakfast, working, sleep. Suddenly you are listening, something goes inside, you become spiritually active, sit like this. Suddenly, it's like a serpent taking the hood, the body wakes up. That means what? The force has, the lower portion has become straight, closed, locked. The force from the lower to the middle chest portion, it is like an ant path, like a pipilika marga. Only in the chest it grows wings. Tata udagad. The Shastra says from there it is ready to fly. Ready to fly. And from there to neck it is like a travel of the light. And from there it is a formless travel. Into the infinitude, Ananta. For all that you need the support. The lower centers need that kind of support. The spiritual center needs the support of Satsanga, Guru, Shastra, Upasana, Devata. And from Vishuddhi, To the higher, all the outer supports fall off. No outer support will help. Then no patri is needed. But till then you need patri. You need a higher patri, higher attachment, so that the lower attachment will fall off. You have attachment to Bhagavan, you lose attachment to the world. You have attachment to Tyaga, you will leave attachment to Bhoga. You have attachment to renunciation, you leave attachment to possession. So attachment is force. Attachment to spiritual life is force. With immense attachment, tremendous attachment. From attachment comes will. Attachment is wealth. Attachment is the money with which you travel to the higher. All your attachment is to Bhagavan, then you travel to the higher. No attachment means indifference. No travel is possible. You have the divine attachment. See in Bhagavan's life, that emotional involvement with the spiritual life. One word, Arunachala. The force traveled to the higher plane. The body traveled from Madurai to Tiruvannamalai. That is Kundalini Shakti. Someone in America goes to a bookstall, opens a book, finds Bhagavan's photo. That very moment is attracted and takes the address of Tiruvannamalai, comes to Tiruvannamalai. Such stories are many. What is the force that pushed them? It is the Shakti. It is Patru. Divine attachment. With that divine attachment, you are protected spiritually. Ka. Pattri-ndri ka Arunachala. Graciously protect me, Arunachala. Compassionately protect me, Arunachala, by giving me tremendous spiritual attachment. Tremendous emotional involvement with Ishtadevata, with the scripture, with the sadhana. The whole emotion is towards Bhagavan. Tasminneva karaniyam. Narada says all the emotions are turned towards God. Pirappil kobam migundu. Manikavajagara says anger is an emotion. He says the anger was turned towards the worldly life. That is what he says. The anger was turned towards the worldly life means what? Thrown out. It becomes vairagya. Immense emotional attachment to Ishtadevata, great wealth. All the divine works, they are only picturing that. Manikavajagara says all the women, they are going for the bath in this month, Margazhi. Morning 4 o'clock you go to Ramanacharana, they will sing that Tiruvannāmalai. ஆதியும் மந்தமும் இல்லா அருட்பெரும் ஜோதியை யாம் பாடக்கேட்டேயும் வாழ்த்தடங்கண் மாதே வளருதியோ வன்சவியோ. That Venpa Tiruvannāmalai, all these women devotees, they go to another woman devotee and she is lying down in her bed by 4:30. They all go to her and says, yesterday you told that you will come and wake us up to worship the Lord, who is Adi Antamilla Parampurul, who is beyond the beginning and end. And the moment you say Shiva, you will weep, you will melt. such a one, now you have grown love towards your bed, and she wakes up, looks at, because she slept, so she woke up and looked at the other devotees. They were all ready to worship the Lord, and you know what happens? She sits in the bed and just gives out such a cry, and she weeps. Oh, I have fallen. Seeing her weep, the other devotees who came to wake her up, they say, oh, we do not have bhakti like her. So the whole emotional wealth is turned towards spiritual life. It becomes strength, it becomes power. It wakes up tremendous tapasya, austerity in the person. So that is pattri-ndri. Arunachala, give me that emotional wealth and give me support, protect me spiritually. Give a good fence around me so that the tender creeper will not be eaten by animals. The tender creeper will not become dry, will not wither away. Water it with bhakti, shraddha. Give the fence of austerity. Protect me. Give me all spiritual support. This is the prayer of this. Actually, you can take every song in Aksharamanamalai, meditate. Arunachala is called Sthanu. Sthanu means pillar. Pillar means support. Support for a tender creeper. And Arunachala represents the tradition, the scriptures. Authentic spiritual path. Authenticity comes from the tradition, scripturally laid out path. A path which will help you in discipline, in dispassion, discrimination, desirelessness, bhakti, yānān, vairagya. The path which all the saints have walked. There is a picture where the disciple goes to the master and tells him, Lord, I am afraid, give me protection. Shankaracharya gives this picture. The Guru says, fear not. Ma bhaishta vidvan, fear not. Tavanasti apayaha, no danger for you. Because you have come to the path where so many sages have walked. Samsara sindhoho taranesti upayaha. There is a perfect path by which you can cross this ocean of misery. It is not discovered by me, it is not discovered by one or two persons. Yenaiva yataha yatayosya param. Thousands have crossed this suffering through this path. Tameva margam tava nirdishami. The same path I will handhold and take you there. This is what the teacher, the most compassionate master, tells, fear not. And in Aksharamanamalai, Bhagavan tells Arunachala, please once tell me, fear not. Bhagavan is asking for that blessing. Please once tell me, Anjalendre Arul Arunachala, bestow your grace by telling me, fear not. If I get that surety from you, fear not, I will not fear. And the very nature of this tradition, this sampradaya, what we call the sampradaya, which the sages have laid out before us. Perfection comes from there. Vedantatte verara vilangum veda porul arul Arunachala. As Bhagavan says, Arunachala, you are the truth declared by the Vedas, by the Upanishads, as the non-dual principle. That is why when a true teacher gives you this knowledge, there is no question of humility. There is neither the question of pride nor the question of humility, because it is perfect teaching. And perfection comes from pramana, the authentic source. A great teacher will not say, I have given you the teaching only what I know. If there is some mistake, a doctor cannot say that. A doctor does some surgery and he tells you with humility, whatever I know I have done. It's not possible. So this is perfection. There is no question of mistake there. This is not mine or this is not anyone's. This is the perfection revealed by the divine. Apaurushaya. So all the support you take, and you can walk without fear. There are forces unknown to you which is supporting you. There is no question of fall. There is no question of going back. It will appear as if you are having some trouble, but you will not fall. Because you are not supported by your individual sense. You are not supported by your ego. Some higher being is there, hand holding you, supporting you. You are sitting in his lap and he is the traveler, not you. And that very knowledge is protection, fearlessness, abhayam. Hence Bhagavan says, Arunachala, left to myself, I am so tender, so frail, weak. But I know you are there behind me. Even I cannot hold you, you hold me. Pattri-ndri ḍāykkā Arunachala. You hold me so that I am free. I cannot even believe my hold on you. Hold me and protect me. This is the prayer in this song. And this pattu is sadhana path. Every teaching that others have, the former teachers have given to us, it's all his support. Shiva. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Yato mamatma bhavasi tvameva, tato navachyam mama kinchidasti, yathataveshtam kurumam tathaiva tvamatmanatham ramanam bhajami. Regarding doubts, ask if you have anything about sadhana so that it will help you, it will help everybody. Like Atma Vichara or Japa or food, yoga, something like that. Like asking about the Purana story or Purana incident, or asking about things which are not directly connected to sadhana. You will write, but I will not take it. But so that will be, if it is useful for everyone, then it will be good.